Welcome to Relevance number 79. Today we'll be talking about competitive advantage in the watch world. And I am analyzing, or I'm using just three random brands that came to mind while asking the questions. It's not specifically because one is more interesting than the other one, or because I have favorites. No, it's just I just chose them because they randomly popped in my head, and this could be done with any brand at any time. But there's there's a couple questions, right? So do these brands have do they have established competitive advantage, right? And if they have, are they able to sustain it? So in order to see the establishment of competitive advantage, we're going to talk about relevance and scarcity. And to sustain the competitive advantage, we're talking about three items that we need to differentiate, and it's durability, transferability, and replicability. So a lot of people just think about a brand, right? And they have an attraction to them. They don't know why. A lot of times, because watch purchases are emotional, but you know that there's things that attract you to that brand. Maybe you never do a deep dive in your head on why you favorite those brands. And I'm trying to establish a framework on how we can assess that. Not that it's necessary, right? You can buy whatever watch you want. It doesn't matter if the brand is super famous, super scarce inventory. It doesn't matter, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm just trying to transfer knowledge and how, if you are interested, this could help you make better purchases or see the spot of a watch brand within the watch world. But yeah, so if we start with competitive advantage, right? We talk about relevance. So, do people care about the brand? And the other one is scarcity. Not everybody has it. It's hard to get, or not everybody can do it. So it could be all these items, right? So it's not one of those three. It could be many things that define scarcity. But for the brand to be completely competitive advantageous, I think both of these items, relevance and scarcity, need to be there. Case one, the easiest one, Rolex. Is it relevant? Yes, everybody knows Rolex. Their customers know Rolex, collectors know Rolex, people that are not watch people like or know about Rolex, right? And this is something that they have achieved through years of managing the brand the best way possible. And they have achieved cultural relevance, right? That's the two words that we can use to define it. Scarcity, also high. Not everybody can get a Rolex, and it's not because they're hard to manufacture, right? Rolex has the capability to increase production as much as they want, but they're not going to do it because that's not the strategy of the brand. Because the brand wants to portray scarcity, right? And scarcity gives them power. And you cannot you cannot create 100 years of history like Rolex has, but you can definitely put it down the toilet if you don't take care of the brand the same way that you have done for years. So, do they have a competitive advantage? Yes. Right now, is the next question is it sustainable? Well, Rolex has durability, which is very very high. Rolex has survived the quartz crisis, smartwatches, and economic downturns. Right, like 2008. Um, Anything that's gone recently, COVID, they exploded. They survived every financial change that we can think of. Transferability is low. What do I mean with transferability? Competitors cannot buy what Rolex have as a brand or their reputation. That is not something that they can purchase. So they definitely cannot transfer the Rolex power. Replicability, It's very tough. You could create a brand like Rolex, but it would take you years to gain trust, recognition. The sometimes when they do something high end with a movement, for example, technological advancements, those are hard, right? And sometimes at some points Rolex has been at the front end of all those developments, the exploration and adventure heritage that they pull from. That's not something that everybody could do from today to tomorrow. So, in order to make a brand like Rolex to replicate the success, it take you years. So we can say that Rolex is sustainable, has a sustainable competitive advantage uh, as a brand, right? So the answer is yes. Case number two, which is interesting, when you think about competitors of Rolex, who do you think of? Omega, right? That's one of them. Are they relevant? Yes, they have relevance. So it's high, right? Like they have the Moonwatch, they have the Olympics, James Bond. They have strong heritage in that sense. So yeah, it's relevant. Not everybody's gonna know Omega, right? From compared to Rolex. Is it scarce? That's a little lower, right? So many competitors offer similar stuff as Omega, and Omegas, some Omegas can be hard to get, not all of them. So when it comes to manufacturability, right, like finishing, movements, quality, you may be able to get similar stuff from other brands. So there's less differentiation in that way. They pull from what we spoke, the heritage of Olympics, Moonwatch, James Bond, but it's not as scarce as, um, for example, Rolex. Do they have a competitive advantage? Yes, uh, but it's not as strong as Rolex, right? So they are somehow scars like the Snoopy, Moonwatch. Those are hard to get. And are they relevant? Yes, they're relevant. So is the competitive advantage sustainable? Is Do they have durability? Yes. Uh, Again, Omega, just like Rolex, has sustained downturns, economic downturns, like in the 90s. They attached themselves to the James Bond brand, and that has brought them a lot of attention. The Olympics has brought them a lot of good sponsorship, viewership, exposure. Is it transferable? It could. Could they buy those sponsorships? Yes, other brands could do that. There are new brands that are targeting space programs like Barrel Hand. Uh, so that heritage could be taken away in a sense, maybe not completely, but shared. And it's something that you don't want. You don't want to share, right? James Bond, from one day to the next, James Bond could turn to a different watch brand, and that's gone too. So that's moderate. Is it the replicability of the competitive advantage? It's it could be it could be a little higher than Rolex, for example, right? In that sense, because of the items that I mentioned before, customers can crush up Omega, Tudor, Grand Seiko, IWC, Breitling, right? Those operate around the same price point. Maybe Tudor a little less, but the other brands are around the same realm or around the same price bracket. So imitation can be a little easier in that sense. Third brand to analyze, Ming. And this one's interesting because is it relevant? Yes, it is relevant, but among the watch enthusiasts, right? So if somebody from outside the watch world might have no clue what Ming is or why it's important. Is it scarce? Yes, there's scarcity in Ming. They only make a limited amount of units. They have a very identifiable design language, which is makes them uh, differentiated, but at the same time scarce because it's not, you cannot go and buy it all the time, the same watch, right? Sometimes a watch is done, watch is made, never sold again. Do they have a competitive advantage within the niche? Yes, they do. But across uh, a bigger market like Rolex, no, right? Now, is this competitive advantage sustainable? Let's think about it. Do they have a durability? That's still, the jury's still out for that, right? Because Ming has endured years, right? Not decades, like Rolex or Omega. So it's still not proven that they have durability. Ming, compared to other watch brands, is still young. Rolex is elder, an elder in the industry, right? So it has survived decades, Ming years. Is it transferable? In that sense, I think Ming is a little lower. Why? Because you could copy Ming's design, but everybody's gonna know that you're copying from them because it's very distinct. So you cannot copy their DNA, the way they operate, and their achievements when it comes to uh, watch manufacturing. That is something that only Ming has done, and if there's another brand trying to do the same, exactly the same, you would notice. Now, there's a brand, there could be another brand with the same approach or similar approach, and that would make them comparable, right? But not the same, but comparable. So it could, it could, it cannot be bought what Ming has, right? So it's definitely not transferable. Like Ming cannot, if Ming goes and sells their design uh, language, everybody's gonna know that. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be like a Ming revival of a brand. You know, kind of like uh, what is the name of that brand that Breitling just bought? Uh, Universa Genève UG. They, you know, it's a revival of a brand. Like the same with Nevada, right? Like Nevada existed before. Now, if you go buy those things and you make it again, it's transferable, right? It's technically the same brand, but you're transferring from the old brand to the new. You could put it that way, right? Like it's a very crude analogy, but that's how it would be. It's a can you replicate it? Mm, maybe, right? So designs can be copied, but everybody's gonna know that the community uh, is gonna know, and the community and founder reputation are harder to copy, right? So I'm kind of mixing transferable and replicable because they go hand in hand, right? Because you cannot buy what Ming has, but you could try to replicate it. And you might be successful replicating something similar, but you are not going to be able to have the same thing that Ming has. So, in that sense, it's kind of like a mixed verdict. I think the jury still would still be out to say oh Ming is a has a sustainable competitive advantage. So far within the niche, yes, they do. Is it sustainable? We're about to find out. So just keep following the brand and you'll find out. So this type of analysis can be made with any kind of brand, right? But I wanted to leave it with Rolex, Omega, and Ming. I mean, if there's interest, we could do it with other brands. On the blog post companion, I'll put a table on with the information here that we have. But yeah, that's what I wanted to cover today. Is scarcity actually the advantage, or is relevance the advantage? And scarcity protects the the advantage that relevance gives you, right? Those are questions also to ask, to analyze when it comes to situations like this. But we can also see brands that try to pull from scarcity, but nobody wants them, right? Like there's a lot of collaborations that are limited editions that they last for a while because nobody wants them. So scarcity alone does not create the value. So it's a very interesting view about brands, and how we can analyze again this type of situations, type of brands. Uh, but I guess the challenge would be which one's more important, to be relevant or to have scarcity, right? That would be the question to answer when it comes to a brand that you're trying to purchase. I don't want to say purchase in the sense of as an asset, right? Like something that you can sell later for a higher price, because that's not the point of watches, I think. That's the point that a lot of people try to make about watches, but that should not be the point of watches. And here's where I leave it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.